Hi, my name is Kimberly Ryan. I'm a high school librarian. So my story time in a box is YA, and my topic is power. I'm going to talk fast, so I went over 7 minutes. So in each of my books, somebody has power, and the protagonist is trying to kind of buck the system. So in Enclave, there is an underground society living under New York because this war has just totally destroyed the environment above ground. So they're all living underground, and they have come up with their own roles in order to kind of survive. So the hunters go out and explore. They're checking on the monsters to make sure that they're not coming too near, their society. And then you kind of have the lowest, which are the reproducers. Literally only purpose is to reproduce to keep the population going. So again, the hunters have the power. So my students would work in groups to kind of create their own society. What kind of roles are necessary in order to survive? So they would come up with the different roles, and then they would also have to figure out how would they assign those roles. Who decides who is going to have what job? So that was Enclave. The second one is Origin. So in this book, it's kind of a sci-fi. They are living in the middle of the Amazon, and the scientists have created this immortal young girl. I think she just turned 17, maybe just 18, and she does not know anything besides this compound. So she knows the genes that were taken for her mother, doesn't necessarily know her father, and the scientists control all the knowledge. She's only taught math, only taught science, no literature, no history, nothing on the outside world to keep her mind kind of limited and not wanting to leave while they're kind of waiting to produce her mate. So my students would be the scientists who are in power, and they would be able to create their own superhuman. So in this one, she was immortal, cannot die. So what do they think would be the most important trait if they were able to kind of create their own superhuman? Would it be invincible? Strength? Would it be brains? What would they create? So they would work in groups to create their perfect human. The selection, absolutely amazing. So in this one, we have a royal family, king and queen, and a caste system. So the number 1 is royalty, so the lower the number, the better. And 7 is almost like below dirt, you don't want to be a 7 or anything worse. So the citizens are getting restless, and normally when a king and queen have a daughter, they'll do the selection, kind of marry her off. But to appease the citizens to stop a rebellion, they decide to do that with their son. So in order to try and, get into this pool to marry this prince, the citizens have to submit a application, basically. America Singer, the main character, doesn't want to because she's in love with a 7, but she's a 6 and can't marry down. And each person kind of gets money. So the royal family has the power. The elite have the power. So my students would have a couple choices with this one. They could create an application to be submit into the pool. They could act like it was a prince or a princess, so gender doesn't matter. This is off a farce book. We used to do this with my students. What they could do is, if a book, they would, be that character and create a fake Facebook page for that character. But it has like their photo, their interests, who their friends are, their hobbies, favorite music, favorite books, whatever. So for this, they would be trying to sell themselves. They want to be selected to be a potential mate for this prince or princess. So they can make their own profile, or they could act like they're the royal family and they're the ones kind of deciding what they're looking for. So I have a couple different templates that they could use. And basically, what are the pros? What would they be looking for in a potential mate? And literally, all you have is an application to go off of. And what would be the turnoffs? If they put this, or this, that's somebody I could not marry. So it's kind of a crazy concept to think of. So they could do either of the 2 options with that book. Unwind. The deepest, creepiest book. In this society, parents have the power. So you can have your child unwound if they are unruly, crazy, you're crazy, whatever. Some families decide to have their children unwound for like a religious purpose. How some families give 10% to church, they give up their 10th child. Now, being unwound means that you're an organ donor. So this musical greatness needs a new kidney, whatever. However, it's not like you had cancer and died, got in a car accident and died, whatever. Like, you are still alive and they are signing you up to take your organs. So essentially signing your death certificate. So these kids are notified ahead of time that they are set to be unwound. So again, parents have the control. So what my kids would do with this book is create a bucket list. You have just found out that you're going to be unwound. Think about that. Dark, creepy. Or gleaned, you know, with his other book, Scythe. So what are some of the things that you would want to accomplish in your last 24 hours? So what would your bucket list be? Maybe amends that you would want to make, places that you'd want to go, foods that you would want to try, etc. So my kids would work either in groups or on their own if they wanted to create a bucket list of what they would do before they're unwound. The last book I selected is called Pawn. So this one is another caste system, but with a royal family. However, this royal family has a major rift within the royal family. So kind of one side believes one thing, the king kind of believes something else, and there's this dark secret. So in this society, as a teenager, you take a test, and it determines your occupation and kind of everything else in life. So our main character takes the test, and she earns a 3. Not cool. You at least want to be a 4 and above. So, you know, this test kind of determines your station in life. So what my kids would do is create some type of test that would determine everyone's future. So what type of questions would you need? What would you need to know? So this one's kind of like a personality test. So I would give them several examples, and they would need to determine what questions would they ask. Would they have physical tests? Would it be just a questionnaire? So what type of tests would they need in order to kind of create their own perfect society? So again, my theme was power. Who has it? Who's trying to take it? So I hope you've enjoyed. Thank you.